Beautiful.
Yeah, so I went back home. I still didn't let go of music, though. I mean, I was kind of doing the YouTube game before it became what it is today.
You were the original YouTuber?
Oh, yeah. I would sit in the office, and I would cover songs, and I'd be like, hey, what's up, y'all? It's Mary Sarah. Like,
so
welcome to my YouTube channel.
Oh, my gosh. Did you have a lot of followers?
I did. I had
bet.
a lot. And I actually think at one point something happened with, like, the music rights or something on a song, and they told me not to touch anything. Like, their email was like, don't worry about it. Next thing I know, my whole page was wiped.
Hey, this is Deb, and this is Happy Hour with Deb, and right now I have my new BFF. Mary Sarah is in the house. Thank you for
Hello.
It is an honor and a privilege.
Thank you for
I
having
literally
me.
feel like we're instantly connected.
Yeah, well, I think we're similar people.
Yes. You know what?
Maybe
And that's the best kind of people to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we see things a lot.
Same,
Mm-hmm.
right? Thank you for being here at Happy
gosh.
Hour. It is such an
Thanks
honor
for
to
having
have
me.
you. I've heard so much and read so much and listened so much. And
Yeah, it's really funny. I tell people, they're like, so what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm an artist. And they're like, well, if I look you up, like, can I find your stuff? And I'm like, yeah, if you look me up, you can read my entire life.
Oh,
Isn't
crazy.
that crazy?
I know.
Yeah, you're like, I've read
is
so much. I'm like, great,
crazy.
you probably read my entire life.
I know, right? I know. No, I did
wonder
read
what's
your
on
entire
there.
life. Because I mean, I love Chrissy so much that I'm like, she's gold. She's got to be gold because Chrissy's gold.
Yeah, Chrissy has been, we were talking about that. She was just such an answer to prayer for me.
Yeah.
I've been at Nashville for 12 years, and when I first came here, I signed with a manager, and it was just not great. A lot of good things came out of it, but the whole management thing was just a mess.
Well, we've discussed that with many artists too about the importance of like a Belmont or somebody like a Chrissy that doesn't steer you in the wrong direction.
Well, and I think it's like, Chrissy just has a really like big heart, and she's kind.
She's got a great heart.
Yeah, she's kind.
There should be more people like her.
Yeah, she's got a way with empathy and understanding for others that I think
really
like a lot of the times with management, they get this like business, and they start to really like, I think even just fear for their own roles. You know, they're only getting percentages of things, so that like they're after the next thing and trying to just get, and not really going, oh wait, is the human being I'm like working for, are they okay?
Right.
You know, like,
and are you giving your full, like, there's a way to do business where everybody's winning as opposed to like, we're only gonna, the one who's lining the pockets.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's as an artist, as somebody who's starting this, that's a crummy way to feel, you know? You want to feel as special. Take me back to when this all started, my friend.
Oh my gosh. So I started singing in general when I was 9.
Okay.
I started
like singing to friends, to family.
So my sister's a year and a half older. So it was always this game of I wanted to do what my sister did because she's the older sister. And so one year she wanted to play piano. And I was like, let me do it too. And so I started taking piano lessons, and I get into piano and I'm like singing along to whatever songs we're learning. And so the piano teacher, Thomas, he was like, hey, like, you've got really good pitch and like you have a natural vibrato. And I'm like 9 and I'm like, I have no idea what you mean. I have no idea.
Am I still getting macaroni and cheese? What does that mean?
Pretty much. And so he recommended a vocal coach just like out of nowhere. And I was like, heck yeah. I mean, I just didn't realize how much I sang around the house. Like I'd sing about doing laundry. I would sing about doing like the dishes. Like I was just like singing about life.
Well, that's a joyful thing too. People who are full of joy sing.
Yeah. And I definitely leaned more towards the entertaining. Like as a kid, I liked to kind of perform theatrical. We'd make up little theater sets for our parents and come out and perform the whole thing.
That's so great.
And none of it would make sense.
Amazing, by the way, too. You know?
My parents have literally been so supportive through my entire career.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. They've always told us as kids, like, you know, if you love what you do and you work hard at it, we will support that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Right.
And, so
and if you love what you do, you'll never work a hard day in your life. Mm-hmm. It is very true.
Yeah. And so fast forward to, I was taking vocal lessons almost weekly at a certain point, and
at 9 years old.
Yeah.
Like, drop the Barbies, we're going for vocal lessons.
Yeah. And then I started doing theater productions, and I was doing like little competition things around Texas. Right. Like I hated the competition stuff. I never loved it because I'd never
Well,
understood why people were competitive. Yeah,
that's a big thing in Texas.
I know, but I don't have the heart to like. I mean, I like to win, but I don't like to be like rude to people. You know.
I know.
And that was the feeling I would get.
And as children, we're like, don't we all win?
No, right? And I always wanted just like friends. So I never understood this like angst I'd get from these other girls because I was like, let's just be friends. We're here to sing and like let's just do it. And they were always like,
don't talk to
you're
me,
my
bitch.
Competition. Exactly.
don't be talking to me, bitch.
Yes,
You're
literally. It was the worst. And I hated that aspect, but it was the only place, like as a kid, I could really get on stage and sing. I couldn't play honky tonk bars at that point,
right,
you know?
Right.
And then I eventually figured out the Opries of Texas, which brought me into classic country music.
Yes, it's amazing.
But oddly enough, at 12, my vocal coach recommended an agent out in LA.
Wow.
Because I was doing a lot of theater stuff.
Okay.
And so we went to my mom, like, I don't know how they got talked into it, to be honest. Because I'm like 12. I don't know how you get talked into being like, sure, take your kid out to LA to meet this agent.
Right.
But the agent, at the time.
Every other parent would be like, have you completely lost your mind?
Well, and he was a very like stand-up, like reputable agent. He represented the Baldwins for a long time. And like, so he was very well known. So we took a meeting with him. It went great. The next day, we're now on like getting emails for auditions. And so we're still in LA. We're supposed to leave. And this audition comes in and I see it and I'm like, Mom, please let me go. I just want to experience what it's like to do an audition in LA. Like, let me just do it for the experience. That's all I want. I don't care if I get it. I just want to
sip.
I just want to try it. Yeah.
I promise I won't become an addict. I just want to sip.
Yeah. And like, we really didn't know what we were doing. So no joke, we went to TJ Maxx and bought a cute outfit for this thing. We stopped at Walgreens and printed a photo out of me and a resume and slapped the two together for this thing. Wow. I mean, it was like DIY. Didn't know what we were doing. And we roll in. I do the audition. They tell me in the room, they're like, hey, this is actually a 2-day thing, so we want you to come back tomorrow. And I, like, as an innocent kid, was like, hey, sorry, we got to fly out tomorrow. So thanks, though.
Right. That's right. That was really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. Like, I'm just here for the experience.
Was this when you were on The Voice?
No, this was when I was 12. This was Kidz Bop.
Yeah. So Kidz Bop.
Yeah, that's the.
First of all, that makes my heart. I remember my daughter listened to like Kidz Bop all the time. That was great.
So when I was 12, I landed. My mom, I talked her into staying another day to do the audition, and then it was like 2 months later that we finally got a call, and my agent was like, he always told me to do the famous line, "Go ahead, make my day." So he was like, "Okay, you can say it." And I was like, "Go ahead, make my day." As a kid, and I just dropped the phone. I was like, "Ah!" I was like, I can't believe I just got this. Like, that was my first audition out in LA, and I like landed it, which was wild. And you know what I think is I think the innocence of me walking in with no experience, I was just joyful.
Right.
There wasn't like
maybe
this.
We carry that through our entire lives.
Yeah. There wasn't this like bitterness or like resentment or anything towards
it
like
wasn't like the
auditioning process.
Texas where like, I don't want to be your friend.
No, and like even like the stage moms that were there, like they were given dirty looks. Like it was not a nice place to be.
Like it's very real.
Oh yeah, it's ugly. Like it's not cute. And so, yeah, I landed Kidz Bop. We toured for 6 months across the East Coast and Midwest on a bus.
Stop it.
We played stadiums and theaters.
Stop it.
I know. It was wild. It was.
Now, who went with you? You were
my mom, and then they had like a tutor on the road for us. It was 6 kids total and 2 adults, and then a full like band. And yeah,
that is insane.
Yeah, it's wild.
But it's what you knew, right? Like
it is what I knew at that point.
Was your sister like, I want to go to Kidz Bop too?
No, we did pray about it for a week though, because like as a family, because there was my sister and my brother at home, and my mom was like, I can't just leave them. My mom didn't want to do it.
Right.
And then the rest of them though, they had seen all the stuff that I'd already done and the want and the love for the music, and they were like, you have to go. You have to take this opportunity. Like you can't miss out on this. And so I'm thankful for that. Like my whole family's been so supportive of
I mean, that's incredible. I mean, think of the opportunity you would have missed. Plus, I mean, to be a mom and leave other kids at home to support, like that's you're now a mom. You get it, you know, like you understand. Your family's incredible. I love a good, like, supportive, incredible family.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool because everybody doesn't have that. It's not a common thread a lot of the time.
It's a very uncommon thread right now, sad enough as it is. So that took you to, you were 14?
13 is when I ended the tour. Stayed out in LA for about 4 months. did not like it. My mom was pretty much like,
it is
this
the
is not
polar opposite of Texas.
This is not the scene for kids. It's just
Right.
not.
It's
She
not
knew
the
that.
scene for
She knew
children.
that in her heart. Like she was like, we need to go home and let you be a kid.
Right.
So
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I went back home. I still didn't let go of music though. I mean, I was kind of doing the YouTube game before it became what it is today.
You were the original YouTuber?
Oh yeah. I would sit in the office and I would cover songs and I'd be like, hey, what's up, y'all? It's Mary Sarah. Like,
is so
welcome to my YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh. Did you have a lot of followers?
I did. I had
bet.
a lot. And I actually think at one point something happened with like the music rights or something on a song, and they told me not to touch anything. Like their email was like, don't worry about it. Next thing I know, my whole page was wiped. They got rid of my YouTube page. I had to start from ground zero.
Oh, because you were doing a cover song.
I guess, but they told me not to worry about it. In the email, they're like, we'll do it.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, we just deleted your profile. Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, cool. So 14 years old, I ended up, through again, my vocal coach, introduced us to an A&R guy in Houston. We ended up starting my first ever record called Crazy Good. And that was my first time writing for the first time.
Wow.
We recorded in Austin.
Wow.
The producer, Dwight Baker, he helped to write the songs. My mom and my sister helped me write songs.
That is amazing.
They're BMI writers, literally.
Stop it.
Yeah, so they get royalties off of whatever.
Wow,
whatever
that's
that
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's as they should.
I know,
As
I know.
they should.
And so it's been cool to have them a part of like literally
I bet.
everything. Yeah. But yeah, so recorded Crazy Good. And then that got a little bit of attention after it had gone up, and people here in Nashville had reached out. And that was the management that when I was 15, they asked for me to come and just take a meeting with them. So my mom, my dad, and I flew here. I loved it here. I knew when I flew here, I was going to be here.
If you love country music, this is where you belong.
I knew it. I knew it
right.
in my heart.
Stepped off the plane. You're like, these are my people.
Yeah, I did. I knew in my heart. I loved it. I just remember being on the plane too. I can see it in my brain being like, I could see Nashville in the skyline. And I was like, okay, this is it. And so we take that meeting. It's great. We talk about this record that my dad and I have been talking about doing because I was playing the Opries of Texas.
Okay.
I was playing classic country music. And everybody always wanted to buy a CD with those songs on it. So they wanted me to go in and like cut these songs. And so we were like, hey, let's do a record where we bring in like Texas legendary musicians on it. And then we'll just do like a whole record of classic songs. Well, this manager, her history though, was drumming as a kid for Freddie Powers, who has written songs for Mo Haggard and Willie Nelson. Mm-hmm. And so she was in that world, and she goes, hang on a minute, like, let's think bigger with this. And so she goes, let's do a whole duets record. I know Kent Wells, who's Dolly's producer. Let's take a meeting with him. He asks Dolly. She says yes.
I hear she's the most fantastic human being alive.
Oh my God.
I hear she's magical.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I hear she's one of the human beings that if you're lucky enough to.
Yeah. And one of the other things that magically happened that same year prior to like really starting the record was the Oak Ridge Boys found me online.
Wow.
And they reached out and said, hey, we have a show in Galveston. Will you come and just bring your family and come see the show? So we packed in the car. It was about an hour from where we lived. And we get there. We get to see the rehearsal. We get to have dinner with them.
Unbelievable.
And at dinner, rest in peace, Joe Bonsall. But Joe looks at me and he says, do you know anything a cappella? And I thought he was asking me to sing at dinner. So I'm like, I like go to stand up to like sing at dinner. I'm thinking this is like an audition process.
Right.
And so I go to stand up and sing at dinner. And he goes, no. I want you to sing on the show tonight.
Stop it.
Again, another one of those things where you're like these legends in country music.
Right. What? That's so crazy.
Like, they're so giving, and it speaks so highly of who they are and the love for
I think the country music industry
continue.
Is just an entire, it's so different from like the LA, you know?
It's so different.
So different. People are so humble and they want to help the next one, and it's great.
Yeah.
That's bravo. That's fantastic.
I'm thankful for it, honestly.
I'm sure. I'm sure you are.
With what I do. But so I ended up though singing that night Where the Boys Are. by Connie Francis.
Love that.
And that video we ended up being able to send to every legend that ended up being on the record that we did. So we started with Dolly.
Wow.
Then we had Willie and Merle.
Wow.
We had Tanya Tucker, Vince Gill, the Oak Ridge Boys on there, Neil Sedaka, Ray Price, like you name it.
That's an all-star lineup.
It's crazy. I can't believe.
Yeah, wow.
And I was in the studio with Dolly at 15.
What?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So that was it was a learning experience all around.
And you learned from the best. You know, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened from then? How did you end up in The Voice?
Yeah, so I know it's so wild because everyone really like knows me from The Voice, but there's like a mass amount of history prior to like leading me to that point. Now, when I was doing what is called the Bridges record, my duets record, I had been reached out by a couple executive producers from The Voice, kind of throughout the years, really like starting at 15 every year after.
Right.
And we...
Now, was American Idol still a big thing then, or was it?
Yes, but I didn't love it. I would hear about the contracts and stuff, and I didn't love, like, I was like, I'm not ready to do that. I've been here, you know, so I was like, I'd rather just stay here and write and stuff. And then because it just felt like American Idol 2 was a bit more like the story, or like sometimes making fun of things, you know what I mean? Like it didn't feel, and then when The Voice came out, that's what appealed to me, it was about The Voice.
Yes.
And so my mom has always taught me, when you finish something, you've got to like finish it. Like when you start something, you got to finish it.
Absolutely. That's a Texas thing. We don't raise quitters.
Yeah. And so that was the Bridges record. When I was being reached out by The Voice, it was so tempting. It was like, ooh, maybe I could go do that. Ooh, maybe I could go do it.
I bet.
And then finally we get done with the Bridges record. We take it to Grassroots Radio. It does great. We did like a European distribution deal on it. I did a couple shows in Europe. Like, that's awesome. It was amazing. Like, I bet. Super
what an
cool
experience.
Yeah, I'd been touring a little bit out of it. Like, but I got back to Nashville. I guess I was 19 at that point. And that's when I got reached out again by, like, they were saying they were going to have auditions.
Right.
And I just finally
was a little bit of you like, I'm already a rock star?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I've felt that until only like in the last couple of years. Right. I know that sounds weird, but like I've had this big like realization of just being like happy with what I have, and like
that's so great.
Everything else is just a bonus.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I love what I do.
To my daughter, I'm like, take it as a bonus.
Yeah.
Well, my job ended here.
You have to find the peace in like what you have now, because if it all were to end, would you be okay?
Very true.
And that was like, for me, going, I'm very proud of everything that I've done. I have had some really large successes in my life. And like, what do I deem as success?
Right.
You know?
Gosh, people work their whole career and don't have that kind of success.
And like, what do you deem as success? Because like, even I saw, I think it was Ed Sheeran talking about playing like Wembley Stadium, and it was his main big goal. Mm-hmm. And he did it, and he got done, and he was like, okay, well, I did
what's
it,
next? Yeah,
you know, like now what's next, you know, and like, so is there ever really enough? Like, so you have to really just like learn how to like be happy with what you have now, and the rest is
so beautiful, right? Because we're always, you know, everybody feels there's a next level, but
there's always something more out there, you know, and you're forever not going to be happy with life if you're constantly like trying to find something to make it better and better and better and better. If you can figure out right now what you're happy with and what you're okay with, and then the rest of it just be like, heck yeah, that's awesome that I get to do that.
Absolutely. It's like, a bonus, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, so The Voice, I feel like that was my first time doing something like solo, like me just going out to LA by myself, doing the audition. And I knew.
Did it look the same? Did it feel the same? Or
as to what?
When you were younger, when you went, when your mom was like, LA's no place to raise a child. It's true. It is no place to raise a child.
It felt magical when I went, though. But we were sequestered in a hotel. Like, we weren't, like, traveling around California doing whatever we were going to do. We were, like, it was controlled. And so I knew I was supposed to be there when I'm doing the, like, audition process. And part of it for the blind auditions is everybody always gets annoyed at this. They're like, oh, I can't believe they pick your song for you, for your audition song. And I'm like, well, They kind of have to because
yes, there's got to be some kind of control.
Well,
right?
everybody would pick the same song.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Everybody can't just sing the same song.
Right.
So what they do,
and no chair's going to turn around.
Well, yeah.
And how the damn chairs
exactly.
turn around
like,
anyway?
I've heard that song 3 times in a row. What the heck? Yeah.
It's lost its luster.
Exactly. And so there is a bit of like a thought process behind why it happens, but they do ask you for like list after list of songs that you would do.
Right.
So I've sent like one had like 100, send us 100 songs you do. Like one had 50 songs. Like, I mean, it's tons of songs.
Right. Well, there's so many.
Yeah. And so I get to just the week where everybody's getting their emails on what their songs are for the blind audition, and I'm like so nervous. I'm like, what if they give me like a Taylor Swift song, or like what if they like right. or like what are they gonna give me? I have no idea. And we're sequestered at this hotel. I walk across the street to the Starbucks with a couple of the other contestants, and I hear my email ding on my phone. It's like a different ding. So I knew it was my email, and I wasn't getting a lot of emails at the time. Right. So I was like, I think this is it. I think this is my song. And I didn't want to open it in front of them because I was like, I have no idea my reaction. I might hate this song. I might love this song. I don't want to. So I was like, guys, I got to make a phone call. And so I like disappeared into the cars. Like I was like in between 2 cars. Right.
Which is easy in LA.
Yeah, in this parking lot. And I open my email, and it's Where the Boys Are by Connie Francis.
Stop it.
And
fate has been made. That's unbelievable.
It was like the moment of like, you're here and you're supposed to be doing this.
Wow.
Yeah. Because the fact out of like 150 songs, and I think I mentioned once that I sang Where the Boys Are with the Oak Ridge Boys. Like, it wasn't something that, like, and it was on the record with Neil Sedaka, but I was actually surprised because they didn't take a lot of my story from the Bridges record at all.
Right.
So they didn't talk about it. So I was very surprised, honestly.
Wow. Did you feel like you hit gold?
Oh, it was wild.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I felt like I got this.
I was living in a dream at that point.
That's amazing.
Because that song I knew like the back of my hand.
Right.
I had been doing it for 8 years plus, like, and singing a cappella and like, you know. So when I got up there, prior to auditioning, really, when I thought about going on The Voice, I knew I wanted to sing that song.
Wow.
I could see it in my brain, the chairs in front of me.
You've already manifested this life. You've said this so many times.
I did.
You're like, I saw Nashville. I saw the skyline. That's incredible.
Yeah, I should trust that more often.
You really trust your gut and your intuition.
Yeah, and so when I got that, and then I walked out to sing Where the Boys Are for the actual blind audition, and I kid you not, it was like literally the dream that I had. I was like looking around, and I was like, am I living within a dream right now? This is insane.
That is crazy. Mm-hmm. It's like you stepped into it. So who were the judges when you were on?
So Blake Shelton, Pharrell Williams, Adam Levine, and Christina Aguilera.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Now, were they there when you do the blind audition? Yes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They're in their chairs.
I would be such a wreck that somebody wouldn't turn their chair around.
It's nerve-wracking for sure.
I can imagine, but you've been doing this a long time, right? You were.
It's the risk
singing
you take.
with Dolly Parton at 15, so
it's the risk you take.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine. So who turned around?
All of them.
Oh my.
Yeah. Adam. I think Adam first. I think it was Pharrell, then Blake and Christina. I think Pharrell and Blake went at the same time. But I was very surprised because within the first like line of the song, Adam like hit his button.
So funny.
Yeah.
So who'd you work with?
Blake.
Yeah. Yes.
My loyalty to country music.
You're right. Yeah. Staying loyal to that. Yeah. So what happened? How long were you in the show?
Yeah, I placed 5th on my season.
That is unbelievable.
It was actually where I wanted to place. I didn't want to win. I knew too much about the contracts, and I knew too much about the stuff that I was like, because they can let you go,
right?
If they decide that they don't want to like sign a deal or anything like that.
We had another artist in talking about it and how it's a whole like you're lawyered up and there's managers and PR and
you
swag.
sit in a room with like half of the contestants and you pick your attorney. Like, it's the weirdest thing in the world, honestly. But, but you pick who will represent you if you need them to.
Wow.
And it's a unanimous vote between the whole group that we're in. These people, like, audition to be our attorneys, and then we unanimously vote
and you're
who we
19 years old.
Yeah. At this time, I think I turned 20 by that point, by the time I was in LA. But, yeah.
Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So you came back to Nashville.
Yes.
I came back. Like, wait a minute, I know her.
So I came back to Nashville. So since I placed 5th, they end up seeing you through anyways. They bring like, I think the top 10 or top 20 back for the finale. So I just stayed like an extra week to stay for the finale. But then that landed me literally that next week getting done going back to Nashville. It was CMA Fest.
No, in June, the Fan Fest.
Yes.
We shot last CMA Fan Fest.
Yes. And my God, I had no idea. Now, I had been seeing everything online of people following me, who supporting me and all those things. But I had no idea, like, face to face. I show up, I get last minute books to do some shows during CMA Fest. I show up to the first one. The room is completely filled up. And I was like, they're here for me? Like, I don't know. It's just weird because you're out in LA. You're not like around, like, you know, you're sequestered. You're not like seeing the fans. Like, you get to see the audience that's there, but like a lot of them are just there to be like in the audience. They're not like following along with the show or whatever.
While they're down their phone. Right.
Yeah. So it's like, so it was just like crazy to come back here and go, oh my gosh, like what I've been doing. Like people are actually voting and seeing and like fans of me now.
That is an enormous break for an artist.
Yeah.
To be on. And we've had some on American Idol too. And that's a big, that's how you get in front of America.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And if you use it, I tell people all the time, if you're going to do it, use it to your advantage. Use any time you get out there to your advantage. Because like, it's still a show. They're still Absolutely. A business. They're still doing their thing. So it's really up to you as an artist to have your music ready. Have like a plan. Like be ready to like have.
Yeah, because you're right there.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But it brought you back to Nashville, where you belong.
Yeah. Yes, and that same week, May 29th, 2016, I did my Opry debut.
Oh, that's every country music artist's dream.
So it's cool. I will say I've been able to play the Ryman and the Opry.
Yes, so. The Ryman is another. Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's been really.
What's your mom think now?
Oh, she's always blown away. I just had a show last night that was so good, and like they're just like, this is awesome that we get to see this and do this. And
are they here in Nashville? Yeah. Oh, goodness. With the baby, with the grandbaby.
I was 17.
Right.
They were not going to let their 17-year-old kid, almost 18, come to Nashville by herself.
Right.
And my sister, luckily, she was going to MTSU. She wanted to be a pilot. So
okay. That's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. What an incredible story.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can't. Like, what is the social media? Tell me what the like social media keeping up with that is like.
Oh, that's a doozy.
Do you do yours or does somebody else do it?
Oh, I've had an entire team, the team you use.
Right.
Help me out with my socials.
They're fantastic. They come highly recommended.
Yes. They're so good. And
I bet they are.
So helpful and like my numbers have just gone up like since having them on the team and but it's for me like having a kid. It's like, you know, that's one thing that's a hard balance for me. Because it's a lot of being in your phone. It's a lot of editing stuff. It's very difficult. It's a lot of being on your computer. It's a lot of. I don't do my own. You know, it's very difficult. So, and it's not as easy as being like, okay, like you stay home while I go do something. Like that means I have to find somebody to watch her and like, you know, those kinds of things. Because her dad and I are both in the music industry, so he plays gigs and he also writes and so we're both balancing it like at the same time. So it's just not.
And it's a numbers game. It's a get in your head game. Yeah. It totally is. And when you have a child, like all that goes right out the window.
Yeah. So it's been wonderful to have a team that'll help me with it though too. Like just to navigate
a great
that.
team is the most important thing. Everybody needs a good team to work with. Yeah.
A lot of the times, honestly, for me, I can like shoot the content. I hate editing. I can't edit. I mean, I'm
going to be honest. I don't think I can do either well.
I got so annoyed the other day, and Mitch will think this is funny. The original song that I posted the other day took me like 15 minutes to edit the one dang video, and everything was already done. Like I just sang along to the thing, and what was happening was Instagram's captions were not fully correct.
Oh God!
And every time I would go edit it, it would put it back.
Oh no!
And I was like, and it did it like 10 times in a row. So finally, I go, screw it. I'm just going to put the lyrics in myself. So I sat there and I was like, and I had to stop at my mailbox though, because I didn't go all the way home because I was like, I knew if I go home, my daughter's going to be there.
Right.
Either it's not going to get done or I'm going to be telling her, hey, Av, hang on. Hey, Av, hang on.
Right.
Hang on. Like,
that's hard for a 4-year-old. That's really difficult for a 4-year-old.
I hate doing that to her. So yeah. And she feels it. She's like, She's like, you haven't been here all day. What do you mean hang on out?
They don't get it. The wait a minute thing. A minute to them is an entire lifetime.
It's an eternity. She's like, how long is that? Yeah.
I know.
Very hard to explain to her what 30 minutes
So
means.
what is it like being a young mother, right?
Yeah.
You've got a baby and you're still performing and are you touring?
Looking to do more in 2025. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So what happens? We put the baby in the tour bus with us?
Put her in the tour bus.
We're just going to go. We're just going to go.
I'm going to do it like Willie and Merle did it.
Absolutely.
They took their whole dang family on the road.
That's right. People have done it, right? You wouldn't be the only one who did it.
Shoot, I mean, like Kane Brown does it with his kids.
Absolutely.
And, like,
he does.
I don't think she would be there we do like seasons of it and, and other times where maybe her dad and her will stay home for a little bit. But like, I think it's an everyday thing. It's an everyday, like, what's it going to look like today?
I know.
Don't worry about tomorrow.
That's what I say. I'm like, you know what I'll worry about tomorrow? Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because if not, you get all like in your own head. How has becoming a mother changed your writing?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so the biggest thing for me becoming a mom, I think I don't know if I don't know what the right, like, perfect word is, but there's this feeling of, first off, I don't do it for myself anymore. And I think I needed that.
Yeah.
I'm not, because I've never, sure I can be selfish in life, but I've never erred on the selfish side fully, like been like, it's all about me. I have to be famous. I have to, like, it was never that for me. And so to then have her and go like, oh, now I have a reason to be like, no, I'm going to be paid this, or like, or stand up for things and say, no, that's not the right way. This is what, like, it's a bit more of like an unapologetic, like, and I'm deserving of being here and knowing your worth.
I'm
and
somebody's
like,
mother.
Yeah. And like knowing your worth and what you're capable of. And like, I have to provide for her. So like, no is not an answer for me.
Networking now that you're a parent? Because networking is a big part of this game.
I will say the good thing with her dad and I is I'm probably more of the person that likes to be the socialite. He's a little more like, I get anxiety in social settings and things like that. So he's like, oh, you have a Christmas party? Go ahead. We'll stay home.
I know. That's so funny.
He likes to be social. Don't get me wrong. But like, yeah, it works out a little bit more that I think I'm more the one that likes going out and
because it's a big part of this network. I mean, it's a big part of this.
Well, I think the other thing is I, even before Av, I think I had this certain like peace about the idea of, I feel like everyone had this like fear of missing out for a very long time. Some people still do have a fear of missing out a lot. And I believe if I'm supposed to be there, I'll be there.
Yes, you got to come to peace with you. Can't be everywhere, every place, every second.
You can't. And I believe
even without a child, you couldn't do it.
Yeah, and I believe like God will have me there if I need to be there. That's
Absolutely.
it. And I have to have the peace in
that door will open if it's my door.
There's too much going on around the city to focus on all the shows and things that I might be missing. Like,
there's
I don't
no
care.
way.
That's not my life. This is my life here. And if I'm supposed to be there, I'll be there.
Do you guys live downtown here in Nashville?
We're out like up towards the airport. We're like Hermitage area.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's so funny. And you're morphing
minutes.
This human being into.
Yeah.
So how do you balance the schedule?
Again, I know it's like I think it's like every day. I'm very thankful for my family that's here. Awesome. Mitch's family is wonderful too. They're always like, hey, let us know. We'll come. They live in Virginia, but they're always like, hey, let us know in enough time so we can come down and stay with her. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so
you can't have enough people loving your children.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't. It's really, you can't have enough people that want to like love your kid.
Yeah, it's definitely a necessity to have like a big family unit when we do what we do, for sure.
Yeah.
So whether that's
is your husband independent?
Whether it's friends, he is. He's independent as well too. Yeah.
Okay. So wow. Mm-hmm. So you guys are really in the thick of things together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Is she excited for Christmas?
Very.
Oh my gosh.
Very.
Right.
She's in this phase right now though. She'll see something. She's like, I want it. And I'll be like, no, Bubba, like Christmas is around the corner. You're going to get so many gifts. And she's like, that's too long.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
that's so funny.
I go, girl, wait till you start feeling it like it's right around the corner. Okay.
Right.
Literally the year flies by for the rest of
us.
So
I think the coolest gift about being a parent is around August, September, you can start working the Santa Claus thing.
Yeah.
And just when it starts to get like, oh my God, they totally forgot about all the great things from Christmas, you can start working that Easter Bunny thing.
Well, her birthday's January 6th.
Oh,
so she's got Christmas and then bam,
I know.
birthday. What a blessed
now,
child.
what do you do? Do you hold off, or you're like, all right, let's put some stuff away? Or
and she wonders why I'm like, hon, we got to clean out the toys, okay? We got to make room for
the new toys.
She's the first grandkid on my side,
Oh,
so
my goodness.
she is so spoiled.
Yes.
But she handles it very well.
She's
not like demanding or anything.
She looks fantastic. I think you're doing a bang up job. I really do.
Thanks.
She seems great.
Yeah,
she's beautiful and adorable.
She's way cooler than we'll ever be. Like
right.
It's wild.
I know. Well, you make sure you remind her of that later, because there's going to be an age where you'll be like, why does she think she's cooler than me?
Oh,
and then you wait like till they're 20 and you're like, oh God, now I remember why I loved you.
Yeah, no, and she's so intuitive. And like, she's got a lot of empathy too and understanding.
Oh, that's such a because you can't. That's really hard to teach that to people, especially in this kind of world where I want it, and I'm going to get it on Christmas. Then I'm going to get it in January. Then I'm going to get a box of Valentine's Day.
You can negotiate with her.
Oh, I love the good negotiating with children.
Don't be
husbands,
mad.
Children. There's ways to do this.
But don't be mad when she very well negotiates back with you.
Right. That's great. Like it's all coming mine.
She's a negotiator. You're like, okay, we're going to have one. She's like, let's have 3.
Right.
And she goes, oh, because I'm 3. I'm like, okay,
like,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So let's have 2. And then she's like, okay.
Right.
And I was like, well, wait, you just won. So you went higher than 1. Like, wait a minute. You just duped me on my own.
Maybe she'll be an amazing attorney.
I would not put it past her.
Hopefully she won't be in that room at The Voice.
No, who knows?
Pick your attorney. I'm like, God, I can't imagine being 20 years old and somebody tell me to pick my attorney.
It was weird.
That is bizarre.
Honestly, until you just said that, I like forgot about that moment. But yeah, that's how that went.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. And what do you choose by suit? Like,
yeah,
what? Like,
well, there was
I'd be like, it would automatically be a fashion competition.
But I remember it was like 2 really good, like female, like they were a duo. They were like a power duo.
Wow.
And then another guy with his team. So yeah, it was wild. And I do know that the gals who were the attorneys, my friend Allison who won the season, she ended up having them negotiate her out of her contract like almost immediately.
Wow.
And they did it, which is kind of unheard of. It's very hard to get out of those contracts.
Yes.
So I was very surprised to be like, oh, within like a couple months of her being like winning, she was out of her contract.
You know, it's crazy too, because we talk to a lot of artists about aligning yourself with the right people because, you know, where there's fish, there's sharks.
Yeah.
So, and the importance of like, you went through one.
Yeah.
That didn't really work out. And, you know, and then you aligned yourself with Chrissy, who is just a badass and the coolest.
Gosh,
and she's great. You guys been working together a year?
About a year. And honestly, so, you know, we had the voice stuff. And then... gosh, 2020 eventually came around, and so COVID, and then I got pregnant. So a lot of things that slowed down my career. I wasn't releasing any music, no nothing. So it hasn't been literally until January of this year that I had been working on music prior to that. Nothing to be released though. Like I had not released anything, but a lot of the stuff we have released since January was stuff I'd been working on for the like 3 or 4 years prior to that. I was so ready to get it out there. And I told Chrissy, I was like, okay, I think I want to like release music. Like, what do I do? And she just like was like, here we go. Let's make the plan. Let's do the content. Let's do the photos.
That's
like,
great.
Let's get it all done. Like, just.
Did you ever feel at some point like if I'm out of this game too long?
I fear when I became a mom, there was a big fear. And that's on so I have a podcast called the Baby Mama Podcast, and I bring other parents on to talk about what it's like. Yeah.
I bet you're great.
And so we talk about like that in itself, like being a fear of like once you become a parent, like you feel like you have to let everything else go a lot of times. And especially as a female, we think, okay, well, we're moms now. Right. You know?
And in this industry, you know, there's somebody popping up every second.
Yes. Yeah. So, well, and I think I've like found like such peace, and like I believe timing is everything. And I'm happy that I haven't become some giant superstar like before now, because I don't think I would have been ready. Like mentally and everything, I look back and I'm like, thank you that I feel like I'm actually been protected from it.
It's a journey. You had to get through the journey to
be
but
where
people
I'm at.
Come here, you know, it's a 10-year town and people come here and they're like, what do you mean?
Oh, I know.
I'm playing a cover. What do you mean I'm not signed to a
they think they can. It's funny how people like it is like that thing. They think they can come here and just like conquer the town immediately. And I'm like,
right, right. And
there are some things that annoy me with that, like the 10-year town kind of thing, because I think there's like a bit of like gatekeeping that can happen a bit, and like, you know, a little of the petty stuff. Like I do think that's there. I don't think no industry is perfect.
None.
But what I do believe in this town is what Nashville and what a lot of the industry people want people to learn to grow and appreciate is the community, is the fellowship with one another, is the creating process, is like, and like really diving into that, finding your group of people you really love hanging out with. Right?
I love country music artists because it's not a cutthroat or I'm better, or it's let me help the next one along.
Yeah.
And you're fans of each other.
Yeah.
Which is amazing that you're lifting. In no other business will competition ever be like that.
Yeah.
You know, where you're actually lifting each other up. And that's an amazing way to earn a living.
Yeah, and I think that's been especially in country music, like you said, that's like one of the more common threads is actually people doing things together. You know, if you go out to LA for like pop and like New York, and like feels so much more of like a cutthroat. It is.
It's very. I mean, can you imagine trying to like, you know, songwrite with Beyonce? Like that's not happening.
No.
You know. So, but I think that's what's so amazing about country music is that you all get each other. You all get that we started somewhere, and I just think it's such a beautiful industry. I love when people come in and out and they know each other.
Yeah.
Because you know, you think it's Nashville. There's these and there are just so many incredible people.
You know, you were talking a little bit about like, especially with like the legends giving way to us like younger artists and like wanting to people to succeed. That's given me a passion. Like one day, like I hope to like maybe I'll have a label one day.
Somebody will be singing your music.
Yeah, or like, you know, or I'm managing, or like whatever that looks like at one point, like later on in life, like what that looks like. But I don't think I'll ever not do it. But there is a longing for me to help others. Like even now in my story, like talking about the things that I've done. Like, yeah, ask the questions. When I was on The Voice, I'll tell you what's up. I'll tell you what you need to know. You need to know who you are. When you go out there, you need to know exactly who you are because they're going to vet that out really quick.
Absolutely.
And, like, you got to take advantage of it. Like, whatever I've learned already, like, if I can help in that way. But, yeah.
And that's so pivotal because it seems like, you know, you moved to this cool city and, you know, and that's, they don't know. We've had a lot of artists that went to Belmont to learn the industry.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a whole legality side to this. There's, you know, it's like anything else. It's you need to make sure that you're prepared for it. What's the biggest dream?
Ooh, biggest dream. Man, I really do. I really want to play stadiums, like just sell out stadiums at one point. It seems like it's such a big dream to me, and like. And I again, it's one of those things I'm like, okay, Lord, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's definitely like a dream in my heart to like hear maybe even a song that has been so impactful in my own life be sung by thousands of people.
Wow.
Together. That we're in it together.
Yes.
You know? And like.
Well, that's the beauty of music. It moves people.
Yeah.
Into places they could never be.
Yeah. And that's like all I can ask for as an artist. And when I write, like. I go, really, my music's not for me. You know, I write about the things that are happening in my life, and I write about, like, relatable things for sure. But really, at the end of the day, like, yes, I get the therapy of writing something out. But I also,
therapy.
It so is. Yeah,
yes.
It so
People
is.
don't
when
get
I get
that.
it out,
I'm like, it's so
okay.
hard. I'm like, you walk around all day when things are happening to you.
Honestly, when I have problems, I should do it more often where I just sit down and write about it. Even if it's a dumb song, because honestly, when I write a song about something that's like bugging the crap out of me in life, I feel better after the fact. I'm like, okay, I'm over it. I wrote it out.
Done.
I wrote the song. It's good. Now I'm over the problem.
It's great. Well, that's therapeutic.
Yeah,
it's therapeutic. If you could open tonight for one person, who would it be?
Oh, living or?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
You know who I always wanted to meet, and she would still be alive to this day if it wasn't for the tragic accident, but Patsy Cline.
Yes.
Dude, Patsy Cline.
Yes.
That voice, the like.
Your mom was a Patsy Cline lover.
I read stories on her and like her.
Crazy's the best song ever written.
That she had. Yes. Like I would have loved to meet her as a person. Like, that's probably one that like.
She has an incredible story too. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. And just early on, the women in country music who like paved a way for
honestly paved a way. Yeah. It was a male dominated.
Yeah, and I can't imagine. I just like, I feel there's still, and not to be like a victim of anything, but it's like that there's still like, as women, we do fight to have a little bit more airtime,
right?
A little bit more, radio time and like things like that.
Absolutely.
But to think about from like back then, what they were facing, goodness,
I know. It is. It's so crazy, and they were the true survivors too.
Well, it must have felt impossible, which is wild,
Sometimes does your journey feel impossible? Because I literally can see it in people. They're like, I just need January to come, because if I don't just you need to take
it has for sure. In the past, like definitely felt like, what am I doing? What is, what is going on? Like, am I doing the right thing?
I'm going to be honest, in every adult situation, I don't, bravo. You've got, bravo. You're fabulous and your music is great and you're just a sunshine. But I think as an adult, we all think, I think that too. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. We question it every once in a while. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
Honestly, it just reminds you why you're doing what you're doing.
Right. Exactly.
I think that's really what we need.
Always
we don't
brings
need to go, why
me
are we
back
doing this?
to
It
the
goes,
reason.
okay,
Yeah, it always brings me back to the reason why I started it or why I learned it or, it brings me back to the reason why this is important to me.
Yes. And that, to me, I've learned too with music and everything is... Because you can burn out very quickly in this town. And I've done it over and over again, I feel like, in the years that I've been in the industry. But recently, I think, I don't know if it's the answer to it, but finding, I don't know, the why. The like the legit root of why you do what you do. And remind yourself of that. Write it down somewhere. Throw it in a book. Throw it on your refrigerator. Yes. Whatever that is.
Tell a friend. Text it to somebody you love. Mm-hmm. It's true.
And just
because
always...
burnout is real.
But always in those moments, like when you're freaking out about something, look to the fridge and see why you do what you do.
Right.
And I would recommend a bit of those bullet points being not just for you.
Yes.
Because because
beautiful.
Our gifts are not just for us. They're bigger than us.
Absolutely.
And so when I remember like I'm doing this one for my daughter. I'm doing this for me because I love what I do. I love to get on stage. I do love a lot of what I do. Not everything's perfect because it's a business, but I do love what I do. And then I know that my gift's not for me. It's been given to me and it's a gift that I have. But I can tell stories, and if there's a story that someone needs to hear, and I can be the one to sing it and translate it to them in a way that reaches them in some way or changes their life in some sort of way.
That's beautiful.
Helps them make a decision.
Right.
Wow, that's powerful.
Because it is so true. And I do same. And my husband's here and he'll be like, and I'm like, I just want to make the world a better place. Like you forget the reason. Because everything clouds it and stuff comes at you. And then I'm like, you know what? I did this to make people feel amazing.
And if you sit down and you can't find the root of the reason why you're doing what you're doing, then I would be like, do something else.
Right. You're not doing the right thing. Absolutely.
Right. You can't figure out a couple reasons as to why, the root of why you're doing what you're doing.
Honestly, I think
probably
until
do something
you cried over it with Chardonnay and gummy bears, you don't know what you're doing. Because that's my friend. I'm like, you know what? We've got to have some candy.
Red or green gummy bears, my jam.
Right. I'm not even kidding you. But there's some things that you really have to do a self-check.
Yeah.
What is the reason why I got into this? Why am I so passionate about this?
And I think, again, the people you surround yourself with.
It's so important. You're the company
your accountability
You're
partners.
the energy that you maintain around you. Yeah. And it is so crucial to align yourself.
Because we're not perfect. And so those people who know your roots of why, they can remind you too.
Right.
In those moments of am I doing what I'm is this right?
And it's so important to have the support of somebody that you can break down and be a mess and be like, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. And they remind you why you did it.
They're like, quit it.
Yeah, quit it. By the way, you picked all the green gummy bears out. What the hell are you doing? Right. I mean, it's so true. It is so true because it's a business. Yeah. It's, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
Besides just your performing, there's a whole, stage around that too. Yeah.
Well, and it's the first person I think of is Chrissy. It's days where even with Av and she's so good to really just see me, and she'll just see hey, this day probably is stressful for you, like, or
Right.
you know, like, and with Av, and like, where can I help? What can I do?
Those
How can I
human beings
like?
should
How
be
can
dipped
I?
in gold, given a Nobel Peace Prize for someone to take your
Yeah.
load.
How can I make
We're
your day
humans.
easier?
We're humans.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and it is, and that is the reason we align ourselves with people that are like-minded. Congratulations!
Thanks.
It has been an amazing ride. I am so, and you are just as big of a sweetheart as everyone said you were going to be. You really are fabulous. All right, I have 2 more questions for you.
Yeah.
What's the greatest compliment you've ever received about your music?
About specifically my music, or the first?
Just you know how one random person that you might not even know says something to you, you're like, oh, like you just knew that was meant to come your way.
Well, I don't know if it was like the greatest compliment, but it confirmed for me that, again, I was doing like the right thing. And so my latest release is Baby Mama. And I prayed and I was like, okay, Lord, I was so excited for this song. And what I didn't want to do, though, is put these big expectations on it, thinking it was going to do all these big things. Like, I knew it was an amazing song.
That's hard.
Well, and I do believe God gave me this song because I didn't write it. It was pitched to me. It was such a God-given moment for me.
Wow.
And the song hit me. And I knew in my heart, I'm like, okay, Lord, if this hit me like this, how's it going to hit it's going to hit other people too. Like, I'm not the only person who has this feeling. And on the release day, I literally prayed, I go, okay, Lord, if there's just one person that needs to hear this song, that's all I need. That is all I need. And a good friend of mine who is pregnant messaged me, and she lost her mom when she was younger. And she was like, I had no idea I needed to hear this song.
Wow. And
like that, like, and she just, you know, she went into detail about a few things and everything. And like, she's like, if I could just tell my mom, like, or if my mom was here, like, and that just like, but it was wild how quickly my prayer was answered. Was like, I just need to know one person needed to hear this. And I got a text message the morning of the release of it. And I knew from then, I go, okay, Lord, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm happy. Good. Yep. This is all I needed.
And I love that you put it out there to the universe like that too, because good things come.
Yeah.
You know, if you're right attitude, head down, hard
And as
work.
far as compliment for, I would say vocals would be Dolly.
Wow, that's amazing.
So when I sang with her, so when we did the record, we always, Kent and I would go in and we would do my vocals so that the artist could hear it and then choose whether they wanted to be on the song, you know, just to like make it legitimate. They knew that I could sing. And so
well, that makes sense.
So I laid
big
down
names, right?
Yeah. And we did Jolene. And so I did my vocals for it. And Dolly came back and told Kent, she said, hey, I know y'all will probably want to do like a traditional duet back and forth. But she goes, I love what she's done. I just want to dance around her vocals.
Wow.
So she didn't even want to like take a full on.
Can we get a little rendition?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 oh, please don't take him just because you can.
Woo! Bravo! That was amazing. Gosh, I want to dance around that too. Can we get Dolly in here? That
I know. And so
tell her it's the big embassy suite.
Yeah,
sign when
right.
She's on her
Literally,
way.
we're right here. But the way she did it was like her harmonies, and then she did a call and response. So it was like Jolene, 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 Jolene. Like, and the way, I mean, she's just insane herself. Like, she can do no wrong. But yeah, that was like a big compliment to be like, Dolly was like, I just want to dance around your vocals.
That is unbelievable. Well, bravo.
Yeah.
Right. I'd have that in like t-shirts. I'd have like bumper stickers made.
Yeah.
Banner flying over my house.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right?
Well, it has been such an honor. I've heard nothing. And you know what? You have checked every box that everyone said.
Thank you.
I've
had the best time. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's my last question. You're going to come back, right?
Absolutely.
And keep us going on this, right? You're going to bring the daughter back at every stage?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you should have her on here. She's hilarious.
I would love to. If she'd come on. We'd love to have her on.
Yeah, she's funny.
It was, so thank you, Mary Sarah. Yeah. It has been an honor and a pleasure, and we can't wait to have you back. And bravo to the career. You must be Oh, if you're not proud of yourself, you need to be.
Thank you.
Because you've done an incredible job.
Thank you. I am, and I'm excited. I'll be back. I'll have something new to talk about. I know
Absolutely.
I will.
Chrissy can come in once a week. I'm like, just bring Chrissy on in here, people.
Yeah,
Chrissy only works with the best. I love every single one. So congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Happy holidays.
Yes, you too.